Heyo, it's Mayo. Today's video, I am sharing with you guys more about my spiritual upbringing. This is officially starting me sharing more about the soul healing aspects of my journey and the spiritual aspects of my journey. So I thought it made the most sense to kind of start chronologically and share with you guys my spiritual upbringing, because that's really like the foundation behind the soul and spiritual aspects of my journey. Before we get started, I will say my voice is pretty crackly today. It's really smoky outside. I will show you guys how smoky it is. It's bad today here in California, and it's affecting my throat and my sinuses, so that is why my voice sounds the way it does. If it gets really dry and gravelly, that's why. Also, if my face ends up looking a little bit red, it's because it's hot. It's literally like 102 right now, and very hot, and I turned off my fan so that you could hear my mic better, so maybe I'll go turn on the AC. Hold on. Do you see my shirt? On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Hi, Ted. Can you see Ted? He's behind me. Okay, so my spiritual upbringing. I have been through quite a journey through spirituality and religion. I have been through so many different routes over the years and have defined myself in like different categories over the years, and I thought I would make a video to kind of share. So we will begin with Catholic. I was baptized Catholic, and that's just kind of, I guess, something that people in my family did, is baptized Catholic. We, however, have never really practiced being Catholic. I have been to very few Catholic services in my life, and I don't know a whole bunch about Catholicism, but I am baptized Catholic. Interestingly though, one of the only churches I've ever really felt like a spiritual connection to is a Catholic church. It's the San Miguel Mission here in California, and it happens to be the place that I was baptized. I didn't know that. I remember being like 10 or something, and we went to the mission, and I remember telling my mom that like this is like one of the only churches I've ever really loved. And my mom's like, well, you were baptized here, so that would make sense why you have like a connection. I was like, oh. That mission is where I go to light candles or just go think sometimes. And fun facts about me and churches: I prefer to go to churches when they're empty. Strange fun fact about me. The next thing on the list is Christian. From age 3 to 14, I went to a private Lutheran Christian school. You heard that correctly. From age 3 to 14, for 12 years of my life, I went to one place. I will start by saying that my family also didn't really practice this religion either. It's just like where I went to school. Like, my family is spiritual, but we're not like super religious. But we're not super spiritual either. You know? Anyway though, I went to this school for a long time, and I never remember feeling a spiritual connection to that religion or those beliefs. And to be completely bluntly honest, it felt forced. It hurt me. I felt judged and like I would neither be worthy in that religion. And I didn't feel like that's what faith should feel like, and I didn't feel like that's what God should feel like. So I kept a lot of emotional distance between me and the religion because it just like didn't fit for me. So even though I did keep like emotional distance between me, see, that's the smoke. Keep like emotional distance.
Keep like emotional distance.
See. Even though I kept emotional distance between me and the religion, it still ended up affecting me, and I have spent many years of my life basically undoing and unraveling the, quite frankly, toxic beliefs that it put into me. And that's not to say that the religion itself is toxic, and that's not to say that the people or any of, I'm not like trying to say anything like that. It's just that how it affected me and made me feel affected me in toxic ways. It like was not healthy. So that's just me being like completely honest about that. The only real beliefs that I left that religion with, the only things that like resonated, was everything happens for a reason and there's a plan. Those two things were very comforting to me when I became chronically ill. Some small part of me, I guess, just held on to those things when I got sick, and it gave me peace and comfort, and I really just deeply in my gut felt like everything happens for a reason and there's a plan, so someday this will make sense. And that gut feeling was correct. Eventually things did make sense. Atheist is the next thing on this list. Atheism is a person who disbelieves or lacks belief in the existence of God or gods. So just a few months after leaving the Christian school, I became really deeply chronically ill and almost died, and I started seeing spirits every night again, like how I did when I was little. And to be, quite frank here, you can't be atheist and see the dead. So, people tend to be pretty shocked that I was ever atheist at all. But to put it simply, atheism very quickly came and went out of my life. Agnostic is the next thing. So I defined myself as agnostic for a couple years early into my illness, so my early teens, because I just didn't know where else I fit, and I didn't have the time or energy in my life at that time to really explore other types of faiths or religions. I just kind of was like, I don't know what I believe, so I guess this is where I'm at. So agnostic is a person who claims neither faith or disbelief in God. For me, it was just kind of I don't know. Spiritual exploration. Over the next years of my life, I studied tons of religions, really any that I could learn about, I tried to learn about. Underneath all of that, I was trying to find something to fit into. I was really trying to find the one, and I didn't. So instead of finding a religion to define myself by and dedicate myself to, I decided to take all of the little bits and pieces from all of the religions that I learned about and take the things that made me feel loved and gave me comfort and hope and inspiration and uplifted me and made me feel good. I took all of the little bits and pieces that I loved and I just kind of put them in a melting pot of spirituality and spiritual things that I liked. When people ask me if I'm religious, I say, no, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual and I'm non-denominational towards religions. I have friends and family of different religious beliefs. I have worked with people of all different kinds of faiths, and I have complete respect for whatever people define their spirituality or their religion as. I adore and respect religion. I think it's beautiful, and I think it brings a lot of really beautiful things to this world. So the fact that I don't define myself as religion and that I've had poor experiences with religion, I still have complete and utter respect for religion. I totally respect that our beliefs may be different. I respect people for being out there living their truth, and I am out here living mine. The last thing is mystic. So for all of my teen years, I tried so hard to find a religion to fit into and didn't really find that. But I did start, like I said, making that melting pot of spiritual things that I love. And somewhere along the way, I kind of accidentally found the word mystic. So mysticism is a person who seeks, by contemplation and self-surrender, to obtain unity with or absorption into the deity or the absolute, or who believes in the spiritual apprehension of truths that are beyond the intellect. It also may refer to the attainment of insight in ultimate or hidden truths and to human transformation supported by various practices and experiences. Mysticism is derived from the Greek word meaning to close or to conceal. In short, it is a very broad spectrum word that people define differently. For me, it means that I accept wisdom from anything, and I find spirituality in a little bit of everything. Through contemplation and surrender, through learning and growing, that is how I find and connect with higher power and spirituality and my spiritual truth. Mysticism, from my perspective, is very much so about the journey, and that is what spirituality is for me. It's so much about the journey and not actually about defining it. The human in me so badly wanted to find a definition and a category to fit into, a place to belong, people who I fit in with. I so wanted to find a religion, and I just didn't find that for me. So I have a very abstract spirituality, and I prefer not to define it. I just say that I'm very spiritual. But if someone were to ask me, like, you have to pick a word that closest comes to what your spirituality is, I would say I'm a mystic, because I feel like that's the closest thing I've found that can kind of encompass my abstract spirituality. I can't say for sure if it's a word that will resonate for me and fit for me for the rest of my life, but I can say wholeheartedly, completely sure that I always have and always will love the mystical things of this universe. And that is why I chose the word mystic for my business. That, my friends, is my spiritual upbringing, and I feel like this is a good foundation for you guys to understand where I've come from. I wanted to remind you guys that for the entire month of October, every single Monday, I am posting spiritual content. That's all I'm doing this month, is just kicking off sharing about spirituality with you guys, talking more about what my soul healing journey has been like. But to share more about my soul healing journey, I feel like I have to kind of introduce you to who I am spiritually. So that's why I'm starting out with some of the basics. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to come back for more. I appreciate you coming out. Pew, pew, pew. I don't know what I'm doing. It's so hot, guys. It's like insane. The world is like on fire. Classic Mayo. Fire burning on the dance floor. Fire burning on the dance floor. Nah!